Jack Reynolds was slouched forward, his eyes barely open, squinting through the blinding white curtain of snow pounding against the windshield. A brutal Montana blizzard had swallowed the road whole, but Jack kept driving, gripping the wheel like it was the only thing holding his life together. At 47, Jack was a veteran of the road. He'd spent more years in his rig than in his own home, 3 mortgage payments behind, his daughter's college tuition unpaid, and his fuel tank. It was almost as empty as he felt inside. The truck groaned in protest as he coaxed it forward. Every bump, every gust of wind felt like the world reminding him, "You're barely hanging on, Jack." He was running on fumes, figuratively and literally, when a flicker of movement caught his eye through the snow. There on the side of the road a figure, half lost in the storm, was frantically waving. His instincts, they screamed, "Keep driving." The deadline wasn't a suggestion. If he missed this delivery, it wasn't just a job on the line. It was survival. But then, there was something in that wave, something in the body language. Desperation. Fear. Maybe even hope. Jack slammed the brakes. That one decision, spur of the moment, completely irrational, would end up flipping his life upside down. He didn't know it then, but pulling over that night wouldn't just cost him his job. It would risk everything he'd been fighting for. What he couldn't have known was that the man climbing into his truck wasn't just cold and stranded. He was carrying a secret that would change Jack's entire life. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Unfolding Tales, where real stories bend, twist, and unravel in the most unexpected ways. And today, oh, you're in for a good one. So who is Jack Reynolds? He's been hauling loads across this country for 23 long years. A man of grit, a man of routine. His palms were scarred and tough, shaped by endless days gripping the steering wheel and wrestling straps in freezing wind. Tonight, he was behind the wheel of his old rust-worn Peterbilt, crawling through the worst blizzard Montana had seen in decades. The radio sputtered with static, broken only by warnings about roads closing and vehicles skidding off into ditches. "Just 3 more hours," Jack muttered, rubbing his eyes, the exhaustion weighing heavy on him. "Get the shipment in. And I'm home." But home. It wasn't what it used to be. Not since Sarah passed away 3 winters ago. Since then, bills piled up like the snow on his windshield. Their modest house, teetering on the edge of foreclosure. His daughter Melissa's tuition, 2 weeks late and counting. The headlights barely lit more than a ghostly tunnel of snow. Jack leaned in closer, squinting hard, jaw clenched. Mike, his boss, had been cold and clear earlier that day. "Delivered to Great Falls by morning, or don't bother coming back." Didn't even look up when he said it. Jack knew the drill. There were always 10 guys ready to take his place. Young guys, guys without back problems, guys who didn't have so much to lose. As the snow thickened, turning the highway into an icy ribbon of danger, Jack slowed to 20 miles an hour. Every minute lost meant getting closer to being replaced. That's when he saw it. A faint, flickering light, far off the shoulder. A small flash, then gone. Then again. Flashlight. Person. Stranded. "Not my problem," Jack muttered. But even as he said it, his foot eased off the gas. He imagined someone freezing out there, maybe injured. He imagined Sarah's voice whispering in his ear. "You can't just leave them, Jack." With a sigh, Jack guided the truck toward the shoulder. The air brakes hissed. He yanked on his coat, grabbed his flashlight, and stepped out into the storm. 10 minutes, he told himself. Help him make a call. Then I'm gone. Snow slapped his face like 1,000 tiny needles. He could barely see. The car was a black sedan, almost swallowed by the snowdrift. A man, bundled in a thick coat, was waving frantically. "Thank God you stopped," he shouted, voice almost stolen by the wind. Jack trudged through knee-deep snow toward him. "Name's Robert," the man called. Car slid off. "No signal out here." "My driver's in the car," hit his head. "Nothing too bad, but he's out of it." Jack glanced inside. A younger guy sat dazed, pressing a cloth to his forehead. Back seat held just a duffel bag. Nothing strange. Looked like two guys caught in a bad storm. Jack nodded. There's a town 30 miles up. I'll get you both there. Robert looked relieved. That'd be a lifesaver. With effort they got the younger man out. His name was Tom. Shaky but okay. They fought the storm together, made it back to Jack's cab, and climbed in. Jack cranked the heat. Robert pulled off his soaked hat, revealing short, gray military-cut hair. Tom quietly thanked Jack. Where you two headed? Jack asked, glancing at the dashboard clock. Time was slipping fast. Great Falls, Robert replied. Military business. Jack blinked. That's where I'm delivering. Robert gave him a curious look. You're risking your job for us. Jack shrugged. Couldn't leave folks to freeze. My wife would haunt me if I did. The truck crawled forward. Tires groaned against the snow-packed road. Every mile took 10 minutes. What are you hauling? Robert asked. Medical supplies. Critical. My boss says it can't wait. Then Jack's phone rang. He put it on speaker. Where the hell are you, Reynolds? Storm hit hard. Visibility's trash. Picked up some stranded folks. Stranded what? We've got a hospital relying on that shipment. 6 a.m. deadline. You're done if it's late. I'll get there, just running behind. Not good enough. That's strike 3. You're finished. Clear out your locker when you're back. Blick. Silence. I'm sorry, Robert said softly. We cost you your job. Jack stared at the road. No. Chose to stop. That's on me. 3 hours later, the storm finally broke. The lights of Great Falls flickered through the snow. Jack pulled into the hospital at 5:47 a.m., barely making the deadline. Hospital staff rushed out. You made it, we were worried. Robert stood nearby, watching. Then approached Jack. Not many would do what you did. He handed him a card. Call me, please. The card was plain. Just a name. Number. Tom and Robert were picked up by a black SUV. Before leaving, Robert looked Jack in the eye. Call me. Mean it. I want to help. Jack drove to a motel. Company paid for now. Might be his last one. Melissa had texted. How's the road, Dad? Stay safe. Jack stared at it. Didn't reply. He woke past noon. Mike had called 3 times. Jack ignored it. Over coffee. He turned Robert's card over in his hand. What could a military guy do for a washed-up trucker, he thought. But he had nothing to lose. He dialed. Admiral Wilson's office, a woman said. Jack froze. I think I've got the wrong number. Robert gave me this card. Is this Jack Reynolds? She asked. Yes. One moment for Admiral Wilson. Jack sat stunned. Coffee forgotten. Then Robert's voice. Glad you called, Jack. How you holding up? You're an admiral. Rear Admiral Robert Wilson. I apologize for not saying last night. Protocol. Jack rubbed his eyes. I didn't just pick up some guy in a snowstorm. I picked up a Naval Admiral. You saved our lives, Jack. Temps dropped to 15 below after you stopped. We wouldn't have made it. I appreciate that, sir. But why'd you want me to call? Because I respect what you did. You helped strangers, knowing it could cost you everything. That Matt.